everybody, and welcome back to my studio. My name is Elke, and today I would like to show you how I made a bouquet that I actually posted on Facebook. I made a bouquet for myself, had some tulips, some peonies and greenery, and I put it into a container, and people were asking me how I did that bouquet. Well, how did you put that structure I was talking about, a grid? How did I put it together? And so I thought I'm just going to show you how I did it. And I started at the time, I used a nice little bowl, a relatively wide opened bowl, filled it with rocks, or in this case I used some pebbles, some little glass beads. And those ones I usually use because they will help you. Oops, they will help you to stabilize the stems. So it's just, first of all, it looks good. It looks better when there's something in the bottom, and then it also helps for the stems to get some stability. And then to have a little bit more room to work with, I made a grid like that. And what I did is I used just branches, any branches, just go outside, get some branches, and I just laid them on top of my vase, all over the place, grid grad. And then I used some wire, just a little bit of florist wire, and wherever I crossed over, I just kind of, not all the crisscrosses, but I just kind of tied them together, twisted them, let a little bit, especially on the edge, a little bit of a wire hanging down. And that one I'm going to bend downwards. You know, those are the ones along the edges, downwards. And then I just take a little bit of Scotch tape. Let's just get my glasses on. Scotch tape. So, and I put that around the wire. And I do that because if I don't, the whole thing is moving too much. So I just take Scotch tape and then just tape the wire down. So, you do that on 3-4 spots. Like that. Here's another one. Yeah, see, and now we have a stable, beautiful grid on the top, and that one helps me to just put all my flowers in and stabilize them. So let's just start with some tulips. And like I said, I used my tulips relatively short because then they last longer. Put them short, give them a little cut, and then you can just put them right into your grid. See how awesome that is? It's just kind of, it just helps you to get them into the position where you actually want them. Like that. And to give it a little bit of interest, all you do here in this case is you make them all in different lengths. You know, not all the same. You start with a few of the same length, which just kind of sit on the grid, and then you just put a few that are longer sticking out just to give the three-dimensional look. But for now, I'm just going to do a few shorter ones. The peonies, of course, they make a nice filling. So nice and beautiful. Oh my God, I love peonies. So you fill those, and then I have some lady's mantle. I just cut that one, and so you just kind of fill it in. It really is. It actually is as simple as that. So if you make yourself a nice grid, and the cool thing is you can use that over and over again. You can just use that and just really fill first the base. And then afterwards, when you have the bases covered, then you start giving it a little bit of the dimension. So, nicely in there. Yeah, and then I went outside, and then whatever is available. I mean, sometimes you are in the middle of the winter and there's nothing in your garden, but then, go to your local florist or garden center, and or you even have a plant, an indoor plant that has has a few leaves that you can borrow. I like to say borrow when I cut my plants. A little ivy. And the ivy, I often stick that in on both sides. And what that is it kind of makes those little leaves floating above. This one is chive. Chive from my garden. Chive, I usually, even when I cook, I use the chive flowers in my salad. You know, just kind of rip them apart and sprinkle them over my salad. Lovely, tastes good, looks good. So, and then here, even the peony leaves, they are really quite lovely. Whoops, what's going on here? They're really quite lovely because you can also use them as nice fillers. And you see, the tighter you make the grid, and the less flowers you need, because obviously if there's a huge square and you put one stem and it topples over, just like in any vase. This is a little bit too big. Yeah, and that's really, it's the secret of that little vase that I created before. It won't be the same, but different look. But it was also with tulips and with peonies. See, now I have pretty much, it's all like a flat, so now I would like to have just a little bit of a dimension. So what I do is I put some a little bit higher than the others. Usually start with my base, so I have an idea what the shape is going to be, and then afterwards I work on my dimension. And you will see, if you have tulips, often they grow out of your bouquet. So all you do is you take a little pin and you stick it right through the stem, right underneath the flower head, or you take a knife and you just give it a little cut, and that means the pressure in the stem can leave, and it won't pull the flower up like that. So that helps you, especially if you have a mixed bouquet and everything is the same length except the tulips are getting out of control. You can do that. So that's a little trick. I think I showed it in another video, but why not telling you again? So yeah, like I said, with the ivy, it's pretty cool when you have little ivy branches like that. See how they have these little leaves. Each leaf is on that string, and so if I put that over my bouquet, they'll kind of look like they're floating. So I take the end, take one or two leaves off, give it a little cut, and then I find a spot where I come out, and then I kind of lightly lay it over it like that. Maybe tuck it underneath a stem here, and then I let those leaves floating around. So yeah, this is also a trick. I just cut the peonies out there. So if I want to use that leaf, but it's too short, if I take it off, then I just cut the top of the stem out here like this, make it relatively short to the leaf, and then I have a longer stem. So that's something. Don't need it quite as long, but perfect little leaf. I love those peonies leaves. And just kind of stuff them in the middle to support your flower too. Whoop. And then also to fill all the holes that we have. So get rid of some of the stuff. And as soon as your weather gets better and you can go outside more, And you can really look for stuff that is blooming on literally in the ditch. Then you can start filling those ones in. There's like little daisies or grasses and things like that. So that is pretty much it. Just get a little bit more of the ivy, I think. See, so I tucked it maybe underneath the branch. Let's just see here. Okay, and I know I need this part in the water. So I'm gonna tuck it, see if it would just kind of go too high. So I tuck it under a flower and maybe under a branch, and there you go. Make sure it has water. Oops. So this one doesn't want to stay. So we're just gonna give it another try here. And if it doesn't stay, then you just take a piece of wire and tuck it underneath. So these are leaves. So that was already it. So of course you can go on with glitter and stuff like that, but I think let's let nature speak here and use things you can find, like the ivy and the you know, any kind of flowers that you maybe have in your garden. And if you don't have a garden, just get mixed green, mixed flowers, mixed flower bouquets. It's often a bouquet that you get a long stemmed bouquet and then just make it all short and put it in a vase like that. I like the idea, especially if you have you know, have them on a table. You a long bouquet, you can't really see it anything. So if you make them shorter, you can see the top, you can see every single flower, and you can enjoy them. A coffee table, it's just lovely because it's a little bit of a shorter table and you can look right on top of it. So yeah, I hope I gave you the idea of using a grid. A grid you can also do literally with Scotch tape over a vase, or I like the look of the branches because they also kind of stick out of it, and I can use this grid over and over again. And it's very simple, every branch like that, just use it. Okay, I hope I gave you enough ideas, and maybe you will send me some of your creations too, so I can see that I actually inspired you. And if you like what I do, so please subscribe for my channel, and then there is this little thumb. Just click on that and then you will be notified every time I put a video up. Okay, see ya.